Mackenzie Johnston with Cattle News Central, bringing you your July 11th cattle industry headlines. Brought to you by 4T Ag Insurance, your go-to contractor for ag insurance. Colt Tritt, he is the owner and operator of 4T Ag. He is a one-man show. He himself ranches, so he understands all the risks that go along with the livestock industry. If your operation is not already enrolled in PRF insurance, now would be a great time to reach out to 4T Ag and get enrolled. And if you want to learn a little bit more about 4T Ag and check out everything they have to offer, head on over to their website, www.4tag.net. That is the number 4, TAG.net. We are also sponsored by Circle 5 Cow School. If you are wanting to learn how to preg check your own cows or start AIing, Circle 5 Cow School is definitely the way to go. Almost every week, they are hosting classes somewhere between Texas and Tennessee. They do a fantastic job. To check out their schedule, head on over to their website, circle5cowschool.com. That is the number 5 in there. Or you can go ahead and just give them a follow on Facebook. The Associated Press has reported Sysco, the nation's largest food distributor, has filed a lawsuit in Texas accusing the Big Four packers of working together to inflate beef prices. The allegations are very similar to other lawsuits filed by grocers, ranchers, restaurants, and other wholesalers. The complaint claims the Big Four colluded since at least 2015 to reduce their purchases of cattle, which in turn drove down livestock prices and sent meat prices upwards. The complaint goes on to explain by using their market power, the packers were able to create surpluses in the cattle market and shortages in the wholesale beef market. These actions artificially increased their profit margins higher than what they would have been able to achieve in a regular competitive market. According to the lawsuit, a former quality assurance officer at a JBS facility has confirmed the existence of a conspiracy among the Big Four packers, which is corroborated by statistics that show industry-wide slaughter and capacity reductions. None of the packers have responded to questions regarding this lawsuit, of course, but we have heard them time and time again defend their actions when other lawsuits have been brought about. This is just another lawsuit against the packers. We have seen how many lawsuits against the packers in the past 3 to 4 years. The list is a mile long. There are red flags everywhere. I don't know what more we need to see, what more our government needs to see, what the DOJ needs to see to realize that something obviously is wrong. We wouldn't have big companies like Sysco coming forward, going after the Big Four if they weren't doing something illegal. Drovers has reported 5 chicken executives on trial for conspiracy and bid rigging from 2012 to 2019 were acquitted last Thursday by a federal jury in Denver. The verdict comes after 2 mistrials were declared when previous juries could not reach a decision. Acquitted in the case were 2 execs from Pilgrim's Pride and 3 execs from Claxton Poultry. Each defendant faced the possibility of 10 years in prison and $1 million fines if they would have been convicted. The verdict of this case is considered a brutal defeat for the Department of Justice prosecutors who moved forward with the case despite the 2 previous failures by narrowing their focus from 10 individuals to 5. The Justice Department issued a statement calling the verdict disappointing, but they plan to continue to vigorously enforce antitrust laws, especially when it comes to price fixing that affect core staples for Americans. This update is also sponsored by Ag Risk Advisors. They manage your risk so you can manage your operation. With the weather being so unstable, there is no better time to look into coverage for your feed crops. The annual forage deadline is right around the corner. With their state-of-the-art technology and superb customer service, you can be confident that your policy is in good hands. Ag Risk Advisors, risks averted, legacies preserved. Meeting Place has reported the Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association is requesting provincial and federal governments investigate the imbalance between the price of cattle and what beef is selling for at retail. Just another red flag against the packers. The association is arguing that even though the drought, feed costs, and high fuel prices are causing ranchers and feedlot operators to lose money, Processors and retailers continue to report strong profits. The association also claims that processors are running fewer shifts to further support higher prices. Drovers has reported U.S. beef exports topped $1 billion for the fourth month this year, while setting new volume and value records according to data from USDA and compiled by the U.S. Meat Export Federation. May beef exports reached 135,006 metric tons, up 1% from the previous high posted back in May of 2021. Export value climbed 20% to $1.09 billion, breaking the March 2022 record. For January through May, beef exports increased 4% year over year, and value increased a whopping 34% to $5.14 billion. Finally, the Daily Wire has reported last week it was announced the Biden administration has proposed blocking all new drilling in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, but they will allow some drilling in the Gulf of Mexico in a 5-year development plan. The plan, which was released on July 1st, proposed no more than 10 potential lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico, an option for one potential lease sale in the northern portion of the Cook Inlet of Alaska, and no lease sales for the Atlantic or Pacific planning areas over the 2023 through 2028 period. Democrats urged President Biden to do more to stop offshore drilling in the Gulf of Mexico during a legislative session earlier this year. Then on the other side, the Biden administration has been under pressure by Republican-leaning states, including 14 states that sued the administration for suspending the lease of new oil and gas drilling on federal lands, claiming the move drove energy prices upwards. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, federal oil and gas leases in the Gulf of Mexico produce about 20% of the carbon pollution from Department of Interior managed lands and waters. So we have our president, Biden, wanting to stop all offshore drilling. Basically all offshore drilling. That little bit down in the Gulf of Mexico and that little bit up in Alaska is a drop in the bucket. Not going to matter. At the same time, we have watched our president turn to Saudi Arabia and beg them to increase oil output. He wants to get involved with a country that has been known for numerous human rights abuses. Also, in the past few weeks, we've seen Biden beg our oil companies to increase their output. Well, how do you expect those companies to increase their output when you pull moves like this? No, it makes no sense. No sense at all. And then also last week, we saw our president go to Twitter and beg our gas stations across our nation to lower their prices. That shows you how disconnected this man is with what is really going on here in our country. Absolutely incredible. That's all I've got for you guys this morning. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Have yourself a great Monday. I'll catch you later.